will rejoice and be glad. We will rejoice and be glad. We will rejoice and be glad.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's settle in and take a deep breath. And find that beautiful, sweet centeredness within you that is within each and every one of us. And it's so beautiful that we get to come together this first Sunday in 2025. And rejoice in that. Pray, laugh, hug, share. We are all together as one because we are one. We are one under God's, the divine's, beautiful, beautiful creation. And I am grateful. We are grateful. And so it is.
And so it is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Everyday Center for Spiritual Living, where we empower each other to live joy-filled lives when? Every day. So, I'm Deborah Bryant, and so please silence your cell phones and check in on Facebook, let people know you're here. So 2025. Oh, there wasn't one yet. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Happy 2025. 2025, the year of kindness and compassion. Yep. And we have that down. We truly have that down. When I first came here 6 months ago, I was no sooner in the door than I was welcomed by Rev Ann and her huge, compassionate, kind, loving heart. Rev Ann truly has the heart of a minister and of a practitioner. And every Sunday since then, I've come almost every Sunday. And what a beautiful thing to know that when one walks in that door, we know that we will have an experience of the giving and receiving of kindness. And how incredible is that? How incredible is that? And maybe this year, individually and collectively, we can still look at ways that we can take this kindness that we share, this compassion, this love that we have for each other, out into our community and out into our world. For truly, whatever the problem, whatever the condition, whatever the fear, whatever the issue, the answer is always kindness, love, and compassion. And we are good at that. So we can pat ourselves on the back because we are good at that. So, let's put my glasses on. Are there any first-time visitors? I know there are. Or anyone who hasn't been here for a while that would like to introduce themselves? Would you guys like to stand and... Yeah, just... Oh, she's going to do it for both. Yes? And your names are Chris and Bob?
Chris.
Okay, well, welcome. And my understanding is they're friends of Jackie's, right? Cool, very cool. Anybody else? All right. So a really important announcement is we have a new schedule. So please plan to start early. So now we have a pre-service meditation at 9:30, followed by at 9:50 a pre-service prayer, and then 9:55 meet and greet. So we don't want to miss a moment of all this goodness. There are always many ways to be of service here at Everyday. You can bring Sunday snacks. So please, and what that would mean would be you set up before Sunday, be a part of our online streaming team, pack up after the service. So if you want to help, talk with Rev Ann or Jackie or Denise. For an extra faith lift after service, you can sit with a practitioner for a one-on-one prayer. I'm available as well as Denise and Carol in the house, and then Jean online. So please take advantage of that, because as a practitioner, what do we love to do? We love to pray. We love to pray. Our musical guest next week is the Coda Singers. So does anybody have a birthday, anniversary, or something to celebrate that they'd like to share with us?
It's my birthday today.
Whose birthday? Oh. Oh, wonderful. When's your birthday? Today. Wow. Okay. Happy birthday, Michou. Happy 60th. That's awesome. Anybody else? Okay, so I guess we're going to sing. Anybody online first? No. We're going to sing you happy birthday. Off we go.
We celebrate you.
We celebrate you.
We celebrate you. We celebrate you. We celebrate you.
And I was glad to hear you say that I celebrate me. That's really important that we celebrate ourselves too, right? So thank you for reminding us of that, how important that is. So now we're just going to take a moment and have some meet and greet and get to hug all these beautiful, kind people around us.
Here's a little something. Oh, for cancer. I know the particular, and this tells you exactly what's in there. So I'll put it in that bag over here. Oh, sure. They like stuff like that. Yeah, and it's safe. All right, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Hi, Facebook. Welcome. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Patty, thank you so much. Hi, Diana Lee. Patty, thank you so much for joining the meditation this morning.
Well, thank you for
Good
that.
morning, Jean. Hi, whoever's on there. Hi,
Hi,
Bubba.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi there. How are you doing it? Oh, you're dressed for it too.
That's when I need help. No, I was just showing them my thing.
Oh, my bicycle's fine.
Jean, are you on prayer today?
No, I'm good.
No,
Jane's good.
no, I'm asking Jean.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. Again. Okay, great.
We're gonna sing first. Yes.
Abundance is mine. divine. There is always enough, heart open wide. Just gotta drink it up, receive all I need to make a happy life turn toward the divine. And receive what's mine, nature's lavish bounty. More comes when you are not counting. Faith is my nature and spirit. Faith keeps me able to hear it. Nature's lavish bounty. More comes when you are not counting. One with my essence and spirit. Faith's river drawing me nearer. I cease to impede. Cascade of goodness turns toward the divine. And receive high tide, abundance is mine. There is always enough, heart open wide. Just gotta drink it up.
New song, right?
We've done it once before.
But it's new every day.
That's true.
Right. That's right.
Oh, we're a happy back.
Lighting the flames of faith, a call to service. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of divine love, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the middle way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the healing candle. Please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. Please stand, face the center aisle or your screen. Close your eyes and cross your hands over your heart. Take in a moment to breathe in the loving intentions we've just sent out to the world. Now, open your eyes And with the eyes of God, see God looking back at you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Good morning again. I'm Carol Rose, in case you don't know me, practitioner here at the Everyday Center. And I've been gone a couple weeks, and it's exciting to be back. And I'm glad I volunteered to do this today. Rev Ann's talk title is...
Approach with humility.
There you go. Approach with humility. I had read it several times, and she clarified what she meant by that. So whatever I talk about, you'll know has something to do with that. Approach with humility. So where that took me was two places. In the Science of Mind magazine, for those of you who read it, there's always the list of the things that Science of Mind says what we believe, okay? There are 11 of them, and I felt like a couple of them fit with this discussion today. So I'm going to read 3 of them. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe that the universal Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, where we understand that the life of all is God. I know that's a lot to take in, but bear with me. All right, then I found something. I actually went to my wonderful Science of Mind book. I know I'm dropping things, it's okay. That I don't always look at that much anymore, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to look in here. And so I found a couple things in here that kind of go with what I think Ann's intending to share with us. Not that I know. Okay, this is about prayer. But if we know God as an indwelling presence, our prayer is naturally addressed to this presence in us. We long for and need a conscious union with the infinite. This is as necessary to the nature and intellect of man as food is to the well-being of his physical body. That makes me want to cry. Wow. So we learn to go deeply within ourselves and speak as though there were a presence there that knows. We can be certain that there is an intelligence in the universe to which we may come that will guide and inspire us, a love which overshadows. God is real to the one who believes in the Supreme Spirit, real to the soul that senses its unity with the whole. I don't know about you guys, but that really speaks to me. And so we'll just do a simple affirmation. Very simple. I am one with Spirit, one with all life. I am one with Spirit, one with all life. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yes, thank you very much, Carol. Wonderful. Good morning. I'm Joseph Saleck, the music director here at the Everyday Center. And this morning, it's a pleasure to be with you here on this first Sunday of this year of kindness and compassion, as Deborah reminded us. This morning, I'm very glad that Michou is deciding to celebrate this morning of her birthday with the Everyday Center. Michou is an earth goddess here on earth, holding frequencies to support us and all its inhabitants on this sometimes awkward time in our evolution. She masquerades in the human realm, wielding words in poetry, prose, and song. She also leads meditative movement practices to help us all inhabit and to celebrate embodiment. She's a wonderful singer and songwriter. Please join me in welcoming Michou Landon.
So this is a new one, and we're doing it. We did it last time I was here, and we're doing it again because Rev Ann was absent that day. An excused absence. Yeah. Yes.
Faith is the root and hope is the reach grown from the ground of being, with a heart that shines its light through every scene. We stand in the questions, knowing we are safe as the life beyond the reach of all nights and names. It is not that we cannot escape our pain, it's that the pain cannot escape our light as it dissolves into love again. Faith is the root, hope is our reach, learning from each that love is the movement and I am the feet. We stand as a marriage between heaven and earth, trees of life, children of the between. It is not that we cannot escape our pain, it's that the pain cannot escape our light as it dissolves into love again. It is not that we can never expunge our shame, it's that the shame is an illusion, forgiven long before we came. It is not that we cannot escape our pain, it's that the pain cannot escape our light as it dissolves into love again. Faith is our root, hope is our reach, and doubt a petty thief, because love is the substance of every grief. Faith is the truth, and hope is what we teach, till we are led by our own children back to the homeland of peace. I'm just happy to see her walking on TV.
We are so blessed in so many ways. Here at Every Day to have the community that we have, to have the experiences that we have of welcome and embracing and being excited to see each other, which is one of my very favorite things. I'm so excited to see you all when you arrive, and we share that with each other. It's delicious. I'm Rev Ann Ray. Just in case you need reminding. And I get to be, I've taken on a new title. I think I should let y'all know. Where are you? There you are. I've taken on a new title. You're all the first to hear it. Spiritual guidepost. Because I decided that senior minister was boring. Not that the job is boring, but it doesn't really cover it. Senior minister is about the job. And there is a job, and that job has to do more with running a business than it does with the spiritual leadership that it is my intention to bring forward, not only from myself, but from people who write exquisite music just for us. Joseph and Michou, I thank you with all my heart. Spiritual leadership is another whole thing. Spiritual leadership, in my mind, is about dressing up and showing up as what you teach. Because, hi Claire. Hi. Because if you're not doing that, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not being an example. You're not leading by example. You're not really showing how simple it is to live a life in love, in compassion, as peace in the world. So you can just introduce me as your spiritual guidepost from now on. I'm kidding. And works. All right, so this month, now there are two people here who don't know that I do a theme for every month. And I build my talk titles around that theme, or at least I think I do. Well, for sure I build the talk titles around the theme, but the talk doesn't always show up as being built around that theme because the talk shows up the way it shows up. The theme for this month is Let's Talk Turkey About God. And my talk title for today is Approach with Humility. And when Carol and I were speaking yesterday about my talk title, I needed to explain to her not to take the title too literally. And she followed that direction perfectly. Because what our teaching, so I'm just going to use, as I typically do the month of January. I'm going to use the month of January to remind people of some basics. We are not a religion. We are a philosophy. Our philosophy is based on spiritual principle. Now, what's the difference between that and a religion? The difference between that and a religion is that you don't have to be anything or not be anything. You don't have to let go of something you were before and take on a new persona. You don't have to, and this isn't judgmental or critical. Please don't hear it that way. But religions have, without exception, other than Native American and paganism, religions tend to have expectations. We don't. We don't have expectations. We have a teaching that we invite people to learn the value of by trying it out. Mm-hmm. Really. By trying it out as an experiment in their own life.
Yes.
Because if we aren't trying it out in our own life, and if we don't have evidence in our own life that these principles work, then what's the point? If we're going to talk turkey about God, and we're going to talk about approach with humility, that can be an expectation of another faith tradition. Mm-hmm. That there is all this humility expected. All righty then.
I know it's dangerous, but I'm doing it.
God is just one name for all that is. I call it life, I call it spirit, I call it God, I call it great Father, I call it great Mother, I call it a lot of things. I call it a lot of loving names because I think of it that way. It is the one life that is all life, that as Carol so perfectly read this morning, it is the one life that expresses itself through each and every one of us and each and everything there is. There is no thing that isn't that. Mm-hmm. There is no thing that isn't that. Tree, cockroach, horse, Lizzie, wherever she is, our four-leggeds, our two-leggeds, our... How many legs does a centipede have? 10, right? It's a lot.
10 is 100.
100. All of it is a revelation of that life. And you know, we may have some ideas about some of its revelations. Mm-hmm. like centipedes. We may think they're okay from afar, or they're okay in a case, or they're okay, somewhere where they aren't crawling around where we may accidentally get one in our shoe. But what's interesting about that is if a centipede gets in our shoe and we get stung by a centipede, it's just doing what it does.
Mhm.
It isn't an act of God. It isn't some kind of evil that has been acted out upon us. There is too much preciousness about God. Too much preciousness. Because when I'm talking about the tree that is outside that window, or the trees that you can see outside that window, I'm still talking about this one life.
Mm-hmm.
And when I approach the trees or the bushes or the centipedes or whatever it is, I am not approaching them with humility. I am approaching them with grace. I am approaching them with respect. I'm approaching them as an equal in all of creation. Equal. There is no separation. Now, does everybody know this?
No.
Yes.
They don't. There is a place in them that knows, but they aren't used to being in touch with that place. They aren't used to being in touch with that inner wisdom that actually informs them better than any news channel.
Yes.
It informs them better than any social media ever will. It informs them of what the highest choice is for their life, moment by moment. And it is our own wisdom. All I am here to do as your spiritual guidepost is to reflect back to you as best I can, to call forth from you, to stir up in you as best I can the truth of who you are.
Yes.
I know that many of us, including me, grew up with other beliefs, in a totally different practice and faith tradition. And approaching with humility was one of the requirements. Because if you weren't approaching with humility, you weren't going to be heard. If you weren't approaching whatever the name was that was used, or the names were, that were used for the divine, for the universe, for spirit, for life, if you weren't approaching it with humility, you were not going to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And we were told that. We were told that we had to pray in a very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to talk about spiritual mind treatment in a second, So don't think I'm going to leave it out. But we were told that we had to pray in a very specific way with a very specific attitude in order to even have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole lot different than having a conversation with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
which is where we believe that life is. But it's not just here. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And, you know, it's interesting. Ernest Holmes is not the only one who says this. Ernest Holmes wrote a book called The Science of Mind, on which our philosophy is based. But his teaching is not the only teaching that speaks our language, that is part of our philosophy by any means. Ancient teachers, contemporary teachers, all included, because the teaching is that way. The teaching started with the most ancient of oral traditions. There's one, and it is everything. And our assignment here is not only to live the best life we can. How many religions have you attended the services of where they told you your job was to live the best life you can? But it is. Do you know why that's true? Because, just stop and think about this for a second. There's one life. That life is all life. How in the world is it going to know my experience unless it lives it through me? How is it going to know what it feels like to have an experience that I have? How is it going to know what it feels like to hug Stephen in the morning before service? Only through me and through anybody else who is lucky enough to get a Stephen hug. And each of us is a unique, individualized expression of the one. So then how can we say we're all one if we're individualized? Well, it works kind of like a hologram. You know how holograms work? Mm-hmm. You take a slice out of a hologram and you have the whole thing. And no matter how many slices you take out of the hologram, you have the whole thing. That's how it works. So back to Ernest Holmes and his fellows and the women who have contributed to this philosophy and are contributing to this philosophy as we speak. This approaching with humility business is the opposite of how we are encouraged to interact with this wisdom that lives by means of us, that lives in us, through us, and as us, and all of life around us. In fact, we are encouraged not just by these people who who are living the experience, who have lived the experience, and who are bringing it into an understanding that hopefully we can embrace. It's also been lived by generations before. And that is an approach where we insist. We don't supplicate. Y'all know what supplicate means? Beg. We don't beg. We don't go and ask humbly, and I'm not making fun. It may look like I am, but I'm not making fun. We don't go and beg humbly for the desire of our heart, whether it's a healed hip or the perfect place to live or whatever it is. We don't supplicate because supplication implies that it isn't already ours.
Mm-hmm.
That we have to get it right for the gift to be given. And whether it is our teaching or ancient teachings going back and back and back, they say again and again, the banquet has been set.
Mm-hmm.
The gift is already given. Our issue, because of course we have one, is acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
is worthiness. And it isn't really our issue. I loved how those lyrics of the song said that, and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing and doing it badly, but said, the pain cannot escape your light.
Mm-hmm.
Our stories, honeys, cannot stand up to our light.
Mm-hmm.
They have no substance of their own, no matter how haunting they are, no matter how real they feel. They have no substance of their own. And by that I mean no power of their own.
Right.
So approaching humbly. Why? If we believe that this life is all life, and we don't just believe it on Sunday, we actually believe it 7 days a week. What do you think? Or maybe we can get to 2 days a week and then grow from there. Believing that there is one life is just part of the invitation. And it's not a belief. It's not a belief in the old tradition. It's not a faith. It's not a thing to have faith in the old way. It's an acceptance of a truth that is undeniable. Even science says that everything is made of one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't just me, although I'm happy to share it. Even science says that we're all, whatever we're talking about is all one thing. It just shows up in different outfits. So it's not faith in the old way. It's not belief in the old way. Because we all have faith in something and we all have belief in something. I mean, usually when we stick our key in the door to unlock our house, we believe the key is going to unlock the door. Right?
Yes.
I mean, we all have a lot of things that we have faith in and we have belief in. This is acceptance of a truth of our being. And so let's just pretend, let's all of us have a moment of let's pretend together, and let's all pretend that we have all accepted 1,000% that all that we are is this one incredible, unlimited, loving life. Let's just pretend. Don't get scared, because I'm going to let you go back to the way you were. I can't keep you here, but I'm going to try just for a second to get you to pretend that you accept that this one life is your life now. So what? Well, if it's your life now, what in the world would it ever deny itself? If it's your life now and my life now, what in the world could I ask, could I desire, could I think of? Because it's way before we put words to it. You know, prayer happens way before we use words. It starts with thought. It starts with our imagination. Carol Owens told me today that she happened to just cook up a little soup. And would we maybe like some? Because she brought some for us. And she described this soup to me, and my mouth was already watering. And I haven't had a taste of it yet. Because that's what our imaginations do. Ruth right now is working on a project that she would have sworn months ago was not going to happen. But the project had a life of its own and a timing of its own. And all things have come together and are continuing to come together for the project to be completed as she imagined it in the first place. So prayer begins with our idea. With our idea of something in our life that we would prefer be different. Not something in somebody else's life. Not something in the government's life. I've heard this more than once over the last many weeks, and it's truly an example of what I'm talking about. And Deborah spoke so passionately to this morning in terms of how we are at every day. If we want peace in the world, we better be peace inside.
Yes.
Because if we're waiting for peace to happen, we might have a long wait. Generations have passed with one war after another war, after another war, after another war, after another war happening somewhere. So if our idea of peace in the world is that there not be war, we might have a long wait. Because our idea of there not being war conflicts with somebody else's idea that war is the only way. But there's only one life, and we're all one. So how do you explain that? How do you explain that this group of people can believe that war's the only way, and this group of people can be dedicated to peace, and they're all one? How do you explain that? It's this little tiny bomb called free will. We are all one, but we are not identical. We are all one, but we do not hold the same things sacred. And that doesn't mean that we're good and they're bad. Because that thinking causes war. If we're going to really talk turkey about God, where we need to begin is by truly accepting our divine nature. I love Michou's new bio, where she is an earth goddess masquerading as a lyricist, a poet, a teacher. Do you know what? We're all doing that.
That's right.
We have these little outfits on that help us move around. You know, what our bodies really are vehicles. So that we are able to engage on this planet, in this atmosphere, in a healthy way. And then at some point, what I believe is that our spirit becomes too big for its house. It has to be elsewhere. It has to be doing greater work. It has to move on. And whenever that is, it just is. There's an important moment that I want to take today before I wrap up what I am intending to send you home with. On occasion, we do something here that is what I call a sacred remembering. We take a moment for a sacred remembering. And there have been at least 2 incidents that we know of this week here in the United States and God knows where else, where people were just going about their business and other people had other agendas, whatever they were. We still don't know. By the way, the FBI still doesn't know.
Who believes in the FBI?
At any rate, the people in Las Vegas and the people in New Orleans were just going about their business. And it's hard, it's really hard to experience something like that in whatever way we do, to take in that information in whatever way we do, and not go by extrapolation, if nothing else, to this place where we say, well, if there really was a God, if there really was one life that is all life, how in the world would this stuff happen? And it's the same way war happens. Because there are people who believe what they believe, and it is different. Our responsibility, and we do have one, is to hold for those whose lives were lost, for those who were injured, and for those families who were impacted in any way by these events, to hold them sacred, to wrap them in love, to know that there is a comfort that goes beyond our understanding, that can and does reach them. And so we take a moment for that sacred honoring of these lives that were touched in any way by these events. As we move on with our week, and we all will, in whatever ways we do, I would like for you to carry the question, what if? What if I fully accept that all that I am and everything I am, and the only reason I am, is this life? What if I fully accept that there is nothing to make up for, to forgive myself for, or to seek forgiveness for? Because as the reading said, we were already forgiven before we got here. What if we could leave here today with the full awareness, that we are here to reveal this incredible life at the highest level we can, moment by moment, choice by choice. And that's enough.
Yes.
That's your homework. And so it is. Oh, yeah, I have to do that. Oh, but I have to get something out of my purse. It's over there. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's somewhere. It's probably on the couch in the library. Now is our time for sacred giving, conscious giving. Giving from a place of being present as we give. And what I ask as the baskets travel by, but I need some baskets up here to travel by. But just is that, thank you, seed money, is don't just nod or shake your head, whatever you would normally do. I know that many people in this room give in a lot of different ways, and you won't be putting anything in the basket today. That's not the point. Mm-hmm. The point is to put something in the basket with your intention. We are setting the stage for a brand new year at Everyday Center for Spiritual Living, just as we all are in our lives. Let's do it with intention. So please, place your intention in the basket, and we will collect, for sure, the funds that are there, but also the intentions that are in the basket as we gather all of this together for our stewardship practice. Oh, I have to say the blessing. Well, you know, I'm excited. So what can I tell you? The love of Spirit blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. And so it is.
So it is.
So I place my intention with the others already in these baskets, blessing this community, accepting this good as it supports not only us, but those that provide services for us. And what I know is that one's good is everyone's good. Mm-hmm. So every good that is living in the hearts or minds of anyone in this room and anyone online and anyone who watches this service later this week, everyone's good is multiplied by these intentions. And so it is.
And so it is.
Now,
Light that shimmers in the blackness, dancing around my little lamp. Warm, embracing pool of amber, chasing off the chill and damp. Shadows bobbing, leaping, whirling, growing, shrinking, breathing flame. A spark of sunlight in the cosmos is all I need to find my way. Cast your bushel aside, embrace your humanness, incandescent, be incandescent. Flaws that you try to hide, give you your unique essence, luminescent, sublime. One young girl became immortal, speaking truth that beams through time. How darkness with a single candle can both defy and define. Be a single candle in the darkness, or be the flame that lights 1,000 more. Happiness and light do not diminish. When shared they raise a whisper to a roar. Cast your bushel aside, embrace your humanness, incandescent, be incandescent. Flaws that you try to hide, give you your unique essence, luminescent, sublime. Cast your bushel aside and join your flame with mine. Effervescent, we're effervescent. Your hue rich as my own, and tucked together we're iridescent, divine. In the dark is a spark of sunlight beckoning. In the dark, be a spark of bright light shining. In the dark, be a spark of sunlight beckoning. In the dark, the spark of